Hello, everybody, and welcome to the weekly collective reading. I'm Nicholas Ashbaugh. It's great to see all of you. Hope your weekend's getting off to a good start. Let's see if we have Apollo behind us. I know you guys like to look at him. Here he is, chilling out, getting a little bit of nap in there. I hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to sort of look at this special topic today, which I think I might not have put in there, but it is basically wayfinding. And this is a chance for you to focus on figuring out what the next step is. So thank you for choosing that special topic today. It gives us a chance to basically leave it up to guides. Sometimes when they're overly organized, it can be, we might be missing something, but today is a great chance to just sort of let whatever needs to come through, come through. If you're brand new, first of all, welcome. Everybody's welcome to this. This is a collective reading, meaning that everything that I pull is for the collective unless otherwise stated. We have a certain section where we go into the elemental breakdown, and that's the only thing that's specific to the signs. I like to start everything off with channeled messages first, and this is a chance for me to connect with guides and bring through whatever comes through in dreams and meditation. This morning, one of the kind of more interesting sci-fi elements was I saw a shapeshifter, and to me, this is actually an auspicious symbol to come through in dreams and especially kind of like as a totem, because it shows our potential to shed a skin, to move beyond. It's a transformative symbol. And so one of the challenges, one of the opportunities in this moment for you is to kind of lean into the ability to try something new. And change can be scary, but it doesn't need to be. I think mostly we like familiar, secure, predictable sort of energies in our life. This is why when Four of Pentacles comes through, it's often like holding on to something that you don't need. And so I'd actually kind of ascribe the limiting factor like as a Four of Pentacles, and the opportunity kind of like as the Death card, transformation, judgment. So this is a chance for rebirth, reinvention. And also maybe just something emerging that you didn't see before. In a positive way, just like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't know I could be that. So that's the first thing that came through. As we're talking right now, the other thing that my guides are showing me is kind of like blades of grass. And it's almost like if you're too far in the weeds, too far in the grass, you can't see what's in front of you. You can't see the sort of the big picture, right? And so if there's a way to kind of elevate your perspective and get beyond those blades of grass, I know we're kind of not even into springtime in the Northern Hemisphere, but that's what I'm seeing. I think that's key. And, you know, the phrase getting into the weeds of something just kind of means that you're so far into like research or the documentation or just all the minutia that you might be missing something more important. So give yourself a chance to step back, to really remind yourself why you're doing something, why you're spending time and energy trying to make something happen. And once you get back into that purpose and that connection to why you're here, and that really does connect us to the wayfinding, then everything starts to come together. So we're going to start off with a 7-day forecast, and I'm going to try to identify in this 7-day forecast maybe some of those moments where you feel like you're in the weeds, and we'll try to get you out. All right, let me see which deck I want to use here for this. I think I know which one I want to use. Okay, so let me turn the camera down. And I'm going to do this one. All right, take a moment, if you will, and close your eyes. Let go of any sort of preconceived notions or ideas or stress that you might be holding on to. And in this moment, we're just going to welcome in the sunlight. Imagine you're watching the sunrise and you're wrapped in the radiance of the rays of sunshine, and you're feeling this sense of connection to source. We'll bring in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters to help us with this part of the journey. Woo! We got one that jumped out. For the sign that I'm recording next, I actually got bees, so we'll talk a little bit about that since it made an appearance here. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We only got one reversal. You know, as a sidebar, I get so many comments about reversals. folks, there's a 50-50 chance every time I pull a card that there's going to be a reversal, so don't overthink it. One of the really great things with reversals is you still have the energy of the original card, but what it shows you is there could be resistance, or there may be a release, especially if it's a heavier card. So no fear, I don't read reversals like that. So don't infuse an energy that needs to be there. Don't fixate on it. I see so many comments every day on that, and I'm like, we'll just relax and we'll just read the card by card. All right, we're going to start off with the energy of today, the only reversal. I like to highlight that because nobody ever does that. It's always only if. If you watch enough videos, there's going to be times where they're all upright sometimes. So it's just statistics, folks. All right, that being said, let's take a look at this Sunday. We have the energy of the Six of Pentacles. It is in the reverse position. Six of Pentacles represents a newfound balance. And when it's reversed, the nuance is don't be afraid to say no. Continue to work hard to create the balance and understand that sometimes it takes a little bit longer than expected for the balance to settle. And there still may be a little bit of recalibration. That's the small nuance of the reversal. But what we see here is still possible. In the traditional illustration of this card, we see a lot of outstretched hands and one person that's kind of doling out the resources. That's you. In this one, we see the celebratory energy when you finally achieve that sort of balance, and we do see that it's eventually going to get there, okay? So the way to continue to tread in the direction of balance, abundance, and opportunity is by choosing wisely. A sort of, what's the best way to put this? It's almost as if it's a bunch of dominoes and they all represent good decisions lined up. And then as you kind of align those dominoes, it gets you to that destination even faster. So a series of very good decisions, very sound decisions, can create more abundance, can speed up the timeline, but you have to weigh your thoughts, your actions, and your investments. And I'm not talking just money. How much time, how much energy, how much attention. Attention is a resource, and it is getting tested nowadays. There are so many distractions from our phones to people in the public spotlight to world events, and it depletes our energy. So we have to really limit the attention there as well so that we have more to give in the long run, okay? So that's what today is about. It's rationing, it's organizing, it's choosing wisely, and it's prioritizing what you want to see some movement in over some things where you're just not feeling the movement, okay? Let's take a look at the card that flew out of the deck Monday, the bees. So this is the Four of Wands, a beautiful Four of Wands at that. And we see a harmonious sort of like partnership. What I love about a colony of bees or a hive of bees is that everybody knows their swim lane. Everybody's working for the greater good. And there's really no arguments, right? There's a queen bee, there's all the workers, and there's a few drones, but like everybody kind of knows what they're supposed to be focusing on. So teamwork makes the dream work. If we're just looking at business or school or things of that nature, the Four of Wands is representing the ability to partner up, find someone that really understands things, and that's going to be a favorable partnership. In love, it's about as good as you can get. This card often represents a firm, sound foundation, marriage, the kind of person that you want because they are trustworthy, and it's kind of like your ride or die energy. So we really like the Four of Wands in all aspects of your life. Now, I also get what they're going for in this illustration because Four of Wands represents setting the table or setting the stage before the actors, before the opportunity, before the energy arrives. So setting the stage, it's basically the flowers. And they've evolved over time to have, ultraviolet, well, I think it is, infrared, whatever insects see in. But there are shapes and patterns that we don't see with our human eyes that the insects do. There are certain scents or tastes in the flowers. They're basically manufactured to be attractive sort of energy. And so the flowers get set up, and then when they open up, the bees arrive. So you may either be at the unfolding or unfurling stage where you're setting the stage, or you may be at the point where synchronicity has occurred and a person has found you. And in this moment, there might be an opportunity opening up. When it happens, don't doubt yourself, especially if you've been waiting for a while, because I get that feeling of, Why now? Some of you might have even kind of like released the idea that something could happen. That's exactly usually when it does happen, because you're not as nervous, you're not as attached, you're going to do better as long as you don't doubt yourself. So Monday presents an opportunity for partnership, for a realization of a dream, but there's a little bit of doubt perhaps because it took so long. It takes as long as it needs to sometimes, okay? Let's go on to Tuesday. Can we just celebrate the fact that it looks like it's a good week, by the way? There's really not a lot of challenging energies presenting themselves, so yay for that. Okay, on Tuesday we have healing, we see growth, we see actually the next step from this. So this is slightly out of balance, creating balance. This is the energy of today. Fast forward to Tuesday, now we see things starting to blossom even more, and perhaps surprising you in how quickly things are happening. So Seven of Pentacles has a lot of different nuances. Let's start with the most important one is don't overextend yourself. If you're on the end of just feeling a little bit tired, especially true. Go back to the energy of the Six of Pentacles and say no when you need to. If you see growth, don't also get lured into feeling like, well, now I don't have to worry. It's your diligence, it's your practical approach that's actually allowed you to get to here. So continue to be smart about making choices. Don't exist in a fear-based sort of energy, but do exist in a practical, pragmatic, planned, and measured approach of like what's possible, what's next. Still, you can think about like holding room for more, because what I see here is more than you expect. It's just basically, for instance, in spending, if you have choices of good, better, best, better's where you go. Or maybe, if there's a little bit of room to get closer to best, fine, but you don't necessarily have to completely blow the budget. So save a little bit, be smart, especially where we're looking at financial markets and things and they're up and down. This is a time to be really smart about if you need it now, how much you really need to push, and always having a rainy day fund. When it comes to your energy on Tuesday, and even just like travel plans and things like that, contingency, extra time, give yourself extra time to get to the airport, extra time for the meeting, just budget in a little bit more. Then when you need it, you'll be fine, and you'll probably still have more than you need, okay? That's how to exercise the energy on Tuesday. Moving on to the midweek, we love it. We have the Magician coming through on Wednesday. So this is about choices and focus. The Magician can do anything that she or he sets their mind to, but it's important for them to stay focused, and discernment is always a part of the Magician. Just because all of the tools are at the altar of the Magician doesn't mean that they have to throw in the kitchen sink. So there's a common theme this week so far. Saying no, creating balance, making choices, not overextending yourself, being patient, and allowing people to show up in the timing that they need to. So patience, discernment, balance, choice, and now focus. Focus is the main thing that I get with the Magician. The other thing is belief. Magic only really works if you believe in it. Like, it can still happen and still work its wonders, even if you're not in that energy of faith and belief, but it's so much stronger when you open yourself up to what's possible. So when manifesting, allow yourself to tag on all of this or greater, or just to be surprised by what the universe sees your value as. And if you get an upgrade, if you level up, say thank you. Yes, please. This is a great day for any kind of manifestation exercise that you have, whether it's meditating. Actually, I had a really good friend. He and I kind of exchange voice memos sometimes, and he was reminding me of, without saying it, it was basically the power of mantra. When we are surrounded by something that doesn't match where we feel we can be, you just keep repeating what your truth is, what your idea of tomorrow will be like, and eventually it gets wrapped in your energy. And I'm like, yeah, that's mantra. So this is a great day to put a positive affirmation. I am lovable. You can even say this, not I'm ready for success, but I am success. I embody success. So use the energy of I am. I am love. I am success. I am worthy. Even though grammatically it's awkward, because what you're doing is stating that you are the embodiment of. You can put that too. I am the embodiment of love. It's just a little longer. So that will help you get into it. And if you keep saying it, eventually you are it and it finds you. And that is what the magician is all about, speaking it into existence, okay? Keep it simple. Pick like 2 or 3 things. It's about discernment and choices. And use those mantras throughout the day and see if you don't see a shift in what happens. I've noticed at certain times, especially if you're around highly sensitive people, when you change your thoughts, sometimes and change even just the way you're holding yourself, their energy changes too. They can see something shifted within you. So especially if you have fellow intuitives, see if they tune into your change of thought. But even people that aren't kind of like as awake or as aware of their energy, they're going to pick up on the subtle nuances, and over time this all adds up, okay? If you have any kind of meeting, anything that you want to make happen, this is the day. You can launch, you can discuss, you can go on a date, you can make it happen. There's an old song by Mariah Carey called Make It Happen, and that's basically it. If you believe, actually the whole idea of that song, she even says it's about like prayer in that song too. But if you believe and you surrender and you allow it to kind of come through, it can come through. All right, let's move on to the energy of Thursday. We have the Empress coming through. I was kind of surprised because we had the International Women's Day coming up. I thought Divine Feminine would win this week, but she's coming through on Thursday nonetheless. I believe she's holding a pomegranate there, and there's a reminder here that you are connected. You have a direct connection to the divine, and it's so interesting because I feel like we've been cheated of that knowledge over years of sort of like systematic, organized religion, organized government, organized everything, hierarchy, kind of like the Hierophant energy, which I do believe comes right after the Emperor. So it makes sense because we have the divine connection innately. It's part of the Fool's journey, but it gets obscured by the Hierophant later on. And we eventually break free of that, but this is a day to get back to your power. You've always had the capacity to do what you want to do. You always, right here, right now, even have the connection to Source. I'm reminding you of that. You can celebrate it, use it, and do whatever you want to do. Thursday is a day to lean into the power. I love that she has stars in her eyes. She is looking at herself, at the world, at the possibilities, basically, kind of like in the future state. And that is where you want to be in the star energy. This is what's possible. Let's do it. Are you on board? And that's how you can get persuasive. I mentioned the power of questions, not in an annoying way, but have you thought about this? Are you ready to make something amazing happen? That's an exciting question. What's holding you back from doing something great? These are questions that don't create fear, they create growth. So you can also see what's possible and ask people if they're ready for something great. It's a good sales technique too. So keep the stars in your eye and try to help other people see it through the art of persuasive speech and questions in particular, okay? All right, let's take a look at Friday. It looks pretty good. Friday, we have the Ace of Pentacles coming through, and notice how it's reaching for the coin. So in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, typically it's more of a receptive energy. So we'll see a hand holding one of the elements or one of the totems that goes with it, like a cup or a wand, etc. So in this one, it's reaching for it, or it's in the act of receiving. So the universe has already asked, are you ready? All you have to say is, I am. Yes, I am. We're going to use I am a lot this week in your mantras. As we look at the cards, it's coming through naturally. Yes. The universe, it's so funny. Sometimes when you are talking to someone on the phone and it's like a contract thing, they're like, I just need a yes or a no. The universe is kind of looking for that. Aces can be a binary on or off sort of energy. So yes, I am, or no, I don't want this. That's really what the universe wants, so it can open a door or shut or open a door accordingly. And when one door closes, another does open. So if you've been recently rejected in a relationship, in a job, or if you feel this sense of failure or whatever, this is coming through saying, that was just one. Now focus on what's open. Where is the energy? Follow the energy. This is a great day to initiate. This is a great day to put something out into the world. So publishing, broadcasting, asking someone out, stating your intention, put it on the table. the coin is out there. People are ready to receive. And if they're not, it frees you from spending the time on them. Kind of going back to this. If you don't see the value or worth in me, what am I doing here? It's a really great question in relationships and jobs. I kind of asked myself that at the very last job that I had, where I was stuck in the same title for a while. I got to move around and have different positions, but I'm like, I'm really not growing upward, and I'm also not sort of like growing in the heart space. I think I've accomplished what I need to. And it was indicative of both my need to expand and also maybe just a glass ceiling that was there. So if you're stuck in a place where you can't see through the weeds, here we go back into the channel messages. Now is the time to sort of say, all right, I got to go somewhere where people can see me, where I can see what's next. This isn't it. And it can be an activity, a job, a relationship, anything where you're stuck. Because you shouldn't be stuck. Again, we're looking at the energy of Friday. You should not be stuck on Friday. So see where the opening is and go through that opening, okay? Interesting here as we're looking at Saturday. Try though you may, you can't really be in multiple places at once. You can, but you'll be less effective mentally when we're talking about this. So there's a choice on Saturday to say, and that's really what this was. Are you in or are you out? If you kind of try to please everyone, you end up like this juggler here. Sometimes the Two of Pentacles is on a tightrope and they're trying to keep their balance. So we've got another message around balance. Sometimes like this person, they're trying to be more than they are, and it's almost like he's a deity. Multitasking is important, but you are going to have to probably make a decision. And it can be one where it's just like not now, not yet. But there might also be a very clear one where it's just no, full stop. We're done with that. The sooner you are clear on your priorities, the easier it's going to be for you rather to get back into this energy of things moving in the direction that you want. There may be 2 invitations that come through. There may be 2 areas of focus. There's just too much going on. So try to find your balance, create healthy boundaries, know that this is the right thing at the right time. Okay? Now let's take a look at the energy for a week from today, next Sunday. We have Emperor, so we see that divine feminine going up to the divine masculine, realizing the goal, being able to be more in a place of sitting with it and saying, I did it. Now let's focus on what's next. So you have 2 ultimate boss cards coming through, Emperor and Empress energy, putting you in a place where you're set up for leadership, you're set up for success. And as we look at highlights and lowlights this week, we're going to focus on how to make sure you can get into sitting into that power. So everything this week is getting you into this place of preparation for leadership, accomplishing your goal, and being able to think about what's next. So, as I said, choices. Choices came through twice. So the 2 most powerful and the 2 most challenging days are going to be today and next Saturday, or this upcoming Saturday, because it's a common theme and it looks like it isn't quite learned as the week goes on. So keep making a series of positive decisions, and then those dominoes are going to line up towards this. Some really beautiful energy this week. 3 days, every other day almost. Actually, I mean, it's 4 days really. 4 of Wands, Magician, Empress, and Ace of Pentacles. Most of this week looks pretty good. We're entering into movement, opportunity, power. So stay patient, continue not to overextend yourself, and it does look like some rewards are coming through. So I like this week. It's about time, right? It's been a challenging year with all that's going on. It doesn't matter where you live or what, you know what I'm talking about. It's been challenging. So we're going to do our best here to focus on the possibilities and keep grounded, again, especially when it comes to what we choose to focus on, because there is power in that. By the way, speaking of power, you could do something that can really help the channel, which is to hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're brand new, and then when this goes on replay, especially like after the live stream, leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the broadcast. It helps more than you might imagine. Okay, I'm going to stick with this deck. I'm feeling a nice connection to it. We're going to go into the elements, and basically the elements provide us an opportunity to get a little more granular for everybody. So this is the only part that's going to be specific to groupings of signs. All right. Deep breath. Let's see what's coming through for fire, earth, air, and water. Fire, earth, air, and water. All right, again, for the people that freak out about reversals, remember how many were not reversed in the weekly. And let's just see what comes through as we look at this. Okay, so Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Take care of yourself. So the main difference between an upright Queen of Pentacles and a reverse one is the energy goes inward. I need this, I want this, I'm going to do this for me. She's one of the ultimate maternal cards. And so in order to be able to see continued growth, movement, and development, she needs to focus on the self, basically, energy. So this is a great day to focus on yourself. One thing that you want to avoid is going to an excess when it comes to working, eating, stressing, nothing in excess, because it can represent that. Even when you're trying to treat yourself, you want to make sure that there's, of course, balance. I'm happy that you're treating yourself, but there are parameters of how far to go on that. There could also be someone in your life that is used to taking more than they're giving. And we saw two cards of balance, the Six of Pentacles and Two of Pentacles, and this is about reestablishing the balance by saying, I need or want this in order to be happy, be safe, be successful, etc. So letting people know what's expected, what is needed, not only disambiguates things, but it's going to make you happier and create the balance that we see might be lacking for some of you. Ultimately, the Queen of Pentacles is a birthing card too. So because I saw like a shapeshifter, I feel like you can do or be or release anything that you want to this week. So let it be, let it go, allow things to get into motion here. Okay. And that's everything. It's a good week overall. But I do think there should be discussions for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius around money, worth, investment, and needs or desires. Put out there what the expectations are so other people know how to show up. And so the universe, too, you can just be having a discussion with your higher self or with your version of God in the universe. Just say, this is what I need. This is what I'm ready for. Bring it. Okay? Let's move on from fire signs to earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So the week starts off with a sort of daydreaming energy. Maybe this is possible, maybe that. Seven of Cups generally is a very good card, but you can sometimes get pulled into overthinking. So spend just enough time researching, questioning, exploring, and then once you've hit the sort of like the energy that feels the best, choose it and go for it. I think that when you're exploring options or opportunities, like the power of 3 or 4 is really good. Limiting the scope of exploration to that is good because you should be able to find it in that. At least 2, if not 3, and then you can stop at that point. That's giving you a chance to see what's out there and not to get overwhelmed. Some of you may be having difficulty in focusing, concentrating, or deciding, in which case I would say the next card in this is 8 of Cups. So you take a step back, right? You don't have to make an immediate decision. Sleep on it. Talk to someone, research, and then you have to eventually say, I've done all that I can. This is the best option in front of me. Let's see where it takes me. Because you have the capacity to always steer in a new direction. You always have a chance to use your intuition, to course correct as needed. So you have to just make the best choice and then take a leap eventually. That's what I see here. Okay? Okay, now let's move on to Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I mentioned earlier that the 4 of Pentacles comes through because we feel an attachment or a safety in something that no longer really serves our highest good. Could be a person, could be a place, could be an opportunity. Whatever it is, you've given it more than enough time or energy. It either needs to show up and say, I'm so sorry, here's the balance, yes, it's your turn to receive, or you move on to something else. You're giving too much and you're not getting enough. And for each of you, this could be different, but that's one aspect of this. The other thing is don't limit yourself, because this ultimately represents a box, a limit. And to quote Mean Girls, there is no limit. But there is no limit to you, to your potential in a certain area, or it's not as limited as you think. You're holding on to something that doesn't need to be what it is. So I kind of want you to go into what we just talked about, which is the daydreaming possibility energy of the previous element. See what else is out there, see what's possible. Surround yourself with people that are optimistic, maybe that ask those questions. Well, have you thought about this, or how can I help you? And use those questions to open up the doors. And whenever, I've talked about this, but it's an alchemic approach to limits. When you think, I'm not worth this, why am I not worth this? How can I find find someone that sees my worth? You just start asking questions so that you don't feel the block anymore. It can happen. Why can't it happen? When will it happen? Where can it happen? I'm going to make it happen. So just ask yourself out of the limit, because a lot of times we don't even know why we think in a limited way. So it's just critical thinking will help you remove the block. You may be holding on to tension in your shoulders, in your neck. You might also be feeling a little, like it can even cut off your breathing sometimes when you're feeling stress. So have you ever noticed we sigh when we're stressed out? When someone tells us news that we don't want to hear, it's like, I used to have someone that I managed that would be a loud sigher. They were not aware of it. I never made them self-conscious, but it was a really good tell. I was like, okay, this person doesn't like what I'm saying. So I would then check in. I would say, what are your thoughts on this? I feel like you're holding back. So you can use it. Pay attention. See if people are pulling their shoulders up. See if you're doing it. See if someone's voice gets tighter. See if they sigh. These are all signs that the energy is too tight. But what you can do is push your chest out, take a nice deep breath, exercise. These things are going to help you open up your energy, open up your heart space, and this is going to help you see more than what's in front of you, okay? Sorry, went a little deeper on that, but it was a limiting card, so we needed to. All right. Four of Swords in reverse as we're looking at the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. If we look really closely on this card, her eye is open, or eyes, I should say. We just see the one eye, but I think many of us have felt this in this new year because there's been a lot of change, a lot of discomfort. You know, there's been a lot going on. And so sometimes we take it to the point where we're supposed to be relaxing when we're asleep. So I'd love for you to change up what you consume right before you go to bed, and make it different. Maybe it's reading a book, because it'll make you tired sometimes. Just listening to a podcast, but make the book, the podcast, the music. Music's a great form of meditation. Make it elevated. Make it something that's positive, so that it can shift your energy into that ease. So it can also be like quieting, reassuring, relaxing. You know, all of that will help. Meditation is also key. It's both the quality and the quantity of sleep that matter. Some of you might be able to get along with far less than your friends or your family, but make sure that whatever you're getting, you wake up and you feel a sense of, oh, wow, I feel great today. If you're not feeling that, pay attention to when you go to sleep and how much. Get a sleep journal, or if you happen to have a smartwatch, allow for it to track your sleep habits so that you can start to tune in a little bit and see how what's going on, and then adjust it and see what you can do. Also, just you might have a lot on your plate this week. So it's important to prioritize, maybe drink a little less caffeine, really focus on, just the choices that we talked about with the 6 and the 2 of Pentacles are key. Not now, not yet, or this isn't enough, or this is what I need to make it happen. So speak your value, your worth, and your needs, kind of like what we saw with the Queen of Pentacles. Lots of connections between all the elements this week, but each one has a slightly different challenge. And for you, it's rest, awareness, and focusing on what you're putting into your mind, body, and spirit so that it doesn't deplete and exhaust you, because it's coming out in sleep or attention. I remember back when I had some of my corporate work, there was a point where I was working so hard and so much that in a very short amount of time, it might have been a couple of months, I had like 2 issues with the car. Like yeah, like a car accident and something where I just got like a ticket for not paying attention to a sign or something. And I was like, it's a lack of awareness. I need to take care of myself. This was a long time ago, like 15 or 20 years ago. And I had a great spiritual teacher that was just like, you need to slow down and you need to make this stop happening. Like, just tell me today it's going to stop, and it has. And I haven't had an issue since, because if I feel tired or unaware like that, I just don't. I would get an Uber. I know. And then I stop overextending myself because I don't want to put myself or others at risk. So we tend to make mistakes when we don't take care of ourselves. Take care of yourselves. Okay? All right, we're going to move on to the special topic for today. The majority of you voted for the ability to, I got to look at it again. Let's see. It was, what's the next step? So this kind of makes sense based on what we've been talking about today. Some of you may be sort of in the stagnating point, like, how do I get to the next thing? So we're going to see, we'll pay special attention to near future and outcome, and then I'll look at what's distracting you, okay? Let me figure out which deck I want to use. I think I know. Let's see. Possibly this. Possibly this. We're going to limit it to 2. I'm going to practice what I preach, and we'll let the decks decide. Okay, 3 of Pentacles wins. And that will also be how we start this off. All right, if you just joined, close your eyes. Imagine yourself at the beach, beautiful sunny day. Create a circle in the sand around your body and feel that you are safe in this circle. The sun is directly overhead. And again, we'll call back in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters to help us get past what might be blocking us and see what the next step is going to be. Because a lot of times it's just fear, anxiety, or uncertainty that holds us back from taking that step. And appropriately enough, we got a 2 of Swords in there, a star in a world, loving what I'm seeing here. So yes, again, there is no limit. Okay, we got a lot of sort of like piggybacking cards here, 2 at a time, so that's some interesting energy. Again, I feel some of you might just be taking on a lot right now. There's a lot of things going on. I'm going to use this deck over here. Again, this is for everybody present. Welcome if you just joined. Yeah, this was when women had wings. I was like, divine feminine, we need to have that today since it didn't make it as the main topic. As I say that, we have Joan of Arc and the Siren. Lots of divine feminine energy in this spread. And surprise, surprise, we have sleep, hypnos coming through as well. All right, we're going to focus first on the catalyst. So Earth's core, sacred fire, beginnings. Let's look at this in the upright position, even though it came through reversed. So when we have a grounding card, the ultimate grounding card, like Earth, coming through, and it's reversed. And of course, we have the world here, which is connected to expansion here at the top. Some of us may be feeling like changes are happening at such a rapid pace, either in our own life or in others or in the world at large, that it's discombobulating. You don't know where you stand. And if you don't know where you stand, you don't know what's next. And that's why it's the first card in a wayfinding, which is just a fancy word for like compass or GPS type of reading. If I don't know where I stand, how can I take a step? So I really want you to, even as you're listening to this reading, plant your feet on the floor or really feel connected in the chair that you're sitting in and say, okay, I'm here. There's a lot going on. I can control this. I can't control all of that, but here's what I can do to make a change. And interestingly enough, once you get the clarity of what you don't like or what you want to stand up for, when we look at health, then you can decide to take a stand, and we have the activist energy with Joan of Arc coming through. But first you have to figure out who you are and what you stand for before you can be the activist, before you can be the catalyst, before you can make change happen. And allow things to take root, to take shape, to take form. So beginnings, one of my favorite lines in an old movie from the 80s, Never-Ending Story. Little bit of a spoiler. If you haven't seen it, just mute me for a sec, and then when I'm done, I'll raise my hand. But like at the very end, the childlike empress holds a single grain of sand from the destruction of this sort of fantastic world, and it's dark. And the other character, Bastian, says, it's dark, and she's like, it's always dark in the beginning. It's always, there's always this sense of obscurity. You can't quite see past where you're at. And I almost get emotional. I mean, that's a kid's movie, but like, I feel a lot of us feel the darkness or feel the shroud of uncertainty. And when something's about to change or shift, there's always the shroud of darkness. So there's always darkness before light, before the new day dawns. So let's not fear that there isn't going to be more light, but let's just sort of think, what can I do now? What seed of hope can I plant for myself? What seed of change can I plant for tomorrow? And how am I going to sow that seed? Rather than focusing on all of the stuff that can't be controlled, because there's a lot, I have to focus on how I can make myself feel grounded and what change I can make for myself and for the betterment of the world. And each one of us can only do so much. Power in numbers. If you really need or want to kind of be in this activist energy of change, you're probably going to have to do it with others. So that's another message here, is you don't have to do it all alone, okay? So that's a big message in one card, but that's what I've got here. And then the sacred fire, of course, is where your passion is. So once you feel this sense of, I really want this or I really need this, then things start to come together for you, okay? Okay. There's a lot in this spread. I said I was going to focus on these two first, and then I'm not going to go through all of it because we're going to do that as we go through the cards here. But interesting that Four of Wands made an appearance again, setting the stage. We have an empty Four of Wands. In many decks, it is empty. Like I said, the flower has to be closed before it opens up. So what we see here is everything's set up. The flowers are opening up. The bees are going to come in eventually. And then we have Knight of Cups and Five of Cups. There's a lot of emotions that are potentially blocking the recognition of whenever this arrives. So we want to focus on tempering and kind of like grounding our emotions. Let me take a quick drink of water here, and then we're going to do the Three of Pentacles at the center. Okay. Three of Pentacles is a great card. I was talking to a fellow intuitive yesterday, actually, about when we find ourselves in a difficult experience. So a recent one for me was the Los Angeles wildfires. On a soul level, I signed up to bear witness to it. Each one of us reacts differently to a big event like that. So for some people, it emboldens them to stay and rebuild. For others, it might inspire them to move on for safety, or because it's like, this doesn't resonate with me. So there may be things in your life where you're part of a larger experience, and when you feel like, why is this happening to all of us? It's because we all decided that we somehow wanted to learn a lesson together, and because it's a collective experience, you're not alone. And this is about teamwork. I'm going to pull the traditional one. I love this deck, but we need to see the team, and it's not in this deck. So you can do more with others. So find like-minded people. It can be in activities. It can be school, because this card is definitely connected to education. However, wherever, whenever you want to do it, because you'll learn from the other people's approach also to things like success and tragedy. Like, how do they make the most out of it? And then that's going to help inform you. So here's your traditional Three of Pentacles. We see someone busy. We see some other people recognizing, collaborating, supporting. So this is a time to get involved, but get involved with like-minded people. And again, school is one way to do that. An activity, because we have an activist card here, this could also be some sort of volunteer work or larger social change sort of thing. Whatever it is that you want to do, connection is the key. And you have two cards that represent that too, because if we look at the table here, so this is the center card, Three of Pentacles. We have Four of Wands here too. So recognition and teamwork, and now we have partnership in a sort of like more substantial way. You may be deciding in this moment the next thing for you is to go to school, to get training, to educate yourself, or to somehow expand your knowledge, and all of that is an absolute yes. For all the fellow writers out there, this is also about putting it into written format. For everyone else, it's about the power of words as a manifestation vehicle. Writing it down. So thinking, speaking, writing, then doing. These are the ways that we manifest, okay? Crossing this card is a block. And I said I would highlight the blocks. So we have the Five of Swords coming through here. And the Five of Swords sits on your shoulder and says, you're not good enough. You're not smart enough. You're not young enough. You're not old enough. You're not enough. That's what I say to that. Enough. Enough of that. That's one opinion. That's also not a very productive way of thinking. Five of Swords energy. So what we're going to do instead is cut our losses on that. And you can just say thanks for your feedback or thanks for your point of view. I don't need to agree with it. We're not going to involve ourselves in petty arguments or in conversations with I'm trying to think of a very elevated way of saying this. Closed-minded people. That's the best way to do it. Or people that lack the research or education. So there may be someone speaking about something that they don't know anything about. Why argue? Because it's coming from a place of lack of knowledge. Again, I'm trying to elevate the words here. So if someone doesn't have the experience, the knowledge, or even the desire to learn more about something, and they don't want to be educated on it, you're wasting your time. So whether this is a friend, a boss, a relative, someone on the street, save your breath. And if it's your own voice coming through from a fear-based mentality saying you're not enough, just recognize it as the shadow energy that it is, dismiss it and say, I'm ready to see what the universe wants to, like, why not? Let's just see what's possible. Okay, like a little kid, why not? Why? Why do you think that? You just ask a question right back to the limiting thought. All right, Two of Swords. I'm getting so many things when I'm pulling this card. The image in my mind's eye is pulling the covers over your head. Or putting like those sleep masks on. I just want to cocoon. So there's a time and a place to cocoon. But the Two of Swords in reverse is breaking free. It's the butterfly escaping the cocoon and saying, I have to fly, I have to liberate myself, I have to go out and see what's out there. So yeah, I just got a psychic download on that many of you have cocooned, have tuned out, have blocked out, but the next phase is the caterpillar becoming the butterfly and emerging. You're seeing something and you can't unsee it. You've heard something and you can't unhear it. You've noticed something and it won't go away. And that's not a bad thing. It's just, what are you going to do about it? Okay? So you're the butterfly. How do you transform it? Are you staying? Are you going? What's your next step? Only you can decide that, but what the universe has shown me in the card is that ignoring it isn't working or won't be effective. And so that's what I got from that. If there's something else going on in your life and you've gotten a hint that you need to fix it sooner than later. So if your car's making a weird sound, take it to the mechanic. If you hear a drip in the roof or whatever, fix it before something bigger happens. Preventative maintenance. Okay. Don't dim your light, or in other words, shine brightly, my friends. The star card coming through, we have kind of like a fairy energy here, but I'll take it almost as a butterfly because we were just talking about that. The star is also about balance. Notice how there's always alchemy in the star. She's typically taking temperance, and the star are about balancing energies. A little bit more being the channel in this one, or letting energy flow through you. But you really need to, well, you don't need to. I'm not going to kind of like to tell you what to do, but I would say you would really benefit from just allowing yourself to be authentic. And it's like, take me or leave me. And your opinion of me, it's none of my business. It's not something I can necessarily control. And it might be blocking me from spreading my wings, taking that next step, taking the leap of faith. So the sooner you can be yourself, the sooner you can feel comfortable in your skin, which is probably why I was seeing a shapeshifter, the better. And so just allow yourself to be. Something really great could be happening. A really cool door could be opening up. There's a part of yourself that's being revealed that wasn't before. Now that it's here, folks, what are you going to do about it? What exciting thing are you going to allow to come forth? We have the World card here in the crowning position, expansion. For many of you, you may be stepping into something really exciting, something really new. You may also want to change the world for the better. You might be deciding to move. The epiphany often comes weeks, months, or years before the actual move itself. But we see, there's a kind of like a symbol of pregnancy on this one. So this is almost like the conceiving of the idea, the moment where it starts to kind of like begin. So we see that happening, and that's where the Ace of Pentacles came through. We were looking at the weekly forecast. So this is a seed of possibility that has been planted in the earth, and now it's about making sure that you continue to feed that dream or that intention or that seed. Ultimately, this card can be connected to travel, accomplishing a goal. It's also for those of you that are in a position where you have more visibility, embracing that visibility, being seen, being heard, going bigger. There's nothing limiting at all about the World card. So in this moment in time, really embrace what's possible and explore. That exploration piece is also really pivotal to this. So if it's been a minute or two since you've traveled, get out of your environment. That was one thing that I learned with just taking a month away. And it also, like when I left LA because of air quality, it's thankfully much better now because we've had some rainstorms. But I also decided I can't stay here because it was so dangerous. And they're also going to be doing some debris removal, which is going to put it back in the air. So I had to leave and separate myself to make the decision. And I'm taking my time on where I'm going next. But sometimes you have to explore to open yourself up. So the next step for many of you could be travel. And it doesn't have to be, all the way on the other side of the world, though it could be. But whatever your next step is, make sure that you research it and you sit with it for a second and think, how does this feel? Do I like where I'm at? Does this environment serve me or suit me in a higher sort of capacity? All right. It's all about this here, this next step, because you're opening yourself up to better partnerships here. Like I said, Four of Wands represents one of the best possible friendships or love interests or business partnerships that you could attract. It's someone who sees you, who meets your energy, who meets the investment, who is there on the level. It's not necessarily here just yet, and that could be what's frustrating some of you. When and where are they coming? Exactly when they need to, but I can tell you what's limiting you. I can't tell you exactly when you start to address some of these things, particularly the emotions and like the Five of Swords that we just talked about. I feel like it comes when you're not even looking. Also, if you are pickier, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Not always. We don't have to make that a statement, but often when you're more discerning, it's like you're sitting there with a sieve. You're kind of going through all of this and you're trying to see what makes the cut, right? Okay. There could be a new friendship coming through, though, and you could be knocked off your feet, head over heels, even without the Tower, because we have a love card and a really optimal card in partnership. That comes through, and that's when the inner saboteur comes in, and you're like, is this person out of my league? Am I going to be okay? We have the world expanding card here in the crowning position saying, stop it. You're fine. Things are happening because you've called them in. Don't get in your headspace too much. All right. Perfect segue into one of the other blocks here. Also associated with rest and sleep. I know that, was it water got that? But everybody's getting it in the form of the Nine of Swords. So the good news with Nine of Swords is more often than not, 9 times out of 10, it's just stress. It's just you're building it up to be more than you need to be. And even when it is going to be something that is substantial, stress in and of itself creates your chemical issues in your body. The cortisol levels get out of whack, and you are then less healthy, less level-headed, less focused, and kind of like what I was saying, where whether you're driving or working or talking, it's messier. So what you can do when your mind starts to go there is say, all right, so tomorrow's going to be a big day. Why don't I just rest tonight? Why don't I get some sleep? Why don't I put on a nice movie or some music and just de-stress so that tomorrow I'm not all wound up in a ball and less able to deal with it. At least if tonight's good, tomorrow I can deal with this. And I'll deal with it tomorrow. It's the one time you can procrastinate a bit, but you can also plant a question in your mind. What if tomorrow's better than I thought? What if it's all right? What if I'm just worrying about nothing? Put that out there and sleep on that possibility and see what comes through, okay? Stress doesn't solve anything. It just creates a lack of health and a lack of wealth because of that. So manage the stress however you feel best suits you. It's going to be different for everyone. Talking to someone, exercising, mantra work like we've been talking about. But stress is coming through. So the world is always changing. Things are always going to be stressful. We have to decide how and what we're going to put our energy into. Let's look at the environment. There's some advice here. All right, so we have an angel coming through in the form of Temperance. She's upright. And she's again saying, balance it out. Focus on where you feel like an ebb and flow here. And nothing has to be changed or done immediately. This can just be the researching and dreaming portion. I love that there's a little seashell at the center. Slow and steady. Not typically a part of this deck, but Temperance is not a fast card ever, really. It's about weighing the options and slowing down. And then beneath it, we actually have an advantageous energy here. Not necessarily the way I would normally look at the Three of Cups, but we'll pull the traditional one in here in a second. But Three of Cups energy is not going to excess. So I think that's kind of what they went for here. She's got one too many cups that she's balancing. And sometimes we can overdo it in social activities. We can overdo it in, like, this can be self-medicating energy. So overeating, overdrinking, overworking, oversleeping. Anything in excess in the Three of Cups isn't great. However, there is an encouragement to mix and mingle and connect with others. So in reverse, this can be a hermiting energy. And one thing that we see here is there's no need to be that way because it feels like you could actually connect with someone. So if you're just a little bit shy, uncertain, etc., then this is really a time for you to get out of your shell, which we saw here, and just slowly re-enter the sort of like social arena and put yourself out there. And it's not just dating. It can be getting involved in an activity or a sporting sort of thing that really makes you feel connected. Okay? All right. We've got a magician here when it comes to possibilities, and I spoke at great length about the power of the magician. So I think the main thing right now is just to do it, to be, okay, so we're going to go back to the traditional card on this one as well. There are certain things that I love about this deck, but there are other things where I'm like, we must look at the original, and this is one of them. So the Magician is a channel. Not always completely apparent, but as above, so below, and basically he is or she is the conduit. They're connecting with source energy. They're bringing it into the grounding reality that is this dimension in this lifetime. You are the channel. All you have to do sometimes is show up. So the traditional card does a great job of doing that. Faith, belief, and focus still a part of this illustration as well. And so put it into practice too. Each and every day, if you keep practicing, if you keep doing it, it gets a little bit easier, a little bit more fluid, a little bit more embodied. Okay? All right. So now in the outcome, we have two cards, both of them reversed, both of them about emotions. The first of the two cards is the Knight of Cups. So there is a heaviness when it comes to, what I'm getting for this one is procrastination, because Knights are about movement, and when our heart is heavy, it's almost like an anchor, and it's difficult to move forward. So you need to let go of the anchor. The anchor can be an attachment to a place, because like leaving your hometown. It can be a relationship. It's falling apart, but you're there because it feels safe or familiar. There's something that isn't enough, but it is familiar. So that Four of Pentacles that we talked about earlier is coming forth, but it inhibits your ability to move forward. So you're just kind of standing still. Now, the other thing here is maybe for the first time in a long time, you're tuning into your emotions and you're thinking, do I want this? Is this enough? So it can just be the insightful questioning that you're asking yourself to inform the next move, because you're the best judge of what works for you, and you have to figure out, am I ready? Now, this one is perfectly illustrated. It looks very similar to Rider-Waite-Smith. Five of Cups is a card of mourning and release, and then ultimately recalibration. Notice there are two cups upright. And what is the Two of Cups? Friendship, love, partnership, good news. So there is a silver lining, but she has to mourn the loss of whatever this is first. It's okay for something to be disappointing. It's okay for you to feel angry. It's okay to have a momentary flash of jealousy, but it's what we do with those emotions that matters. You can transmute jealousy into inspiration. So I want what they have. They got it. That means I might be able to do it too. How can I improve myself? What can I learn from them? So you can start to question and then get inspired instead of jealous. If you're angry about something, we're going to talk about activism here in a moment. It's good to be angry. Angry, it helps get us into our power center, into our first three chakras. And so then we can say, I need to feel safe. I need to get my power back. I need to exercise this. What am I going to do? You get fired up. We call it for a reason. So we can use lower frequency energies to then empower higher frequency actions, but you have to transmute it, and that's why the Magician is right beneath these cards. He sees the energy here, and he's like, I need to change it around. I don't like the way I feel here, but I have to acknowledge that I feel it. It's what I do with it that matters. Never deny an emotion, but do get curious about where it's coming from. And then do decide what you want to do with it. Nice segue into the expanded portion of this forecast, where we're going to go a little bit deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny, starting off with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit. I was very heartened and happy to see this. This is like the ultimate Queen of Swords energy. You could even say King of Swords. Joan would not mind, because she's divine masculine and feminine for sure. So sacred activists, do not be afraid. Stand up for your beliefs. So in our own lives, it actually is a perfectly appropriate card for health. This, if something isn't safe, you speak up and say, this isn't safe. This doesn't work for me. If something isn't giving you what you're putting in, you could just say, it's your turn now to to show up. I've done this. I've consistently, sort of like been here, and now I need to know, are you in or are you out? So she's speaking up in a way that is aware of her worth, has very good like boundaries and limits on what she's going to do next. And she's not afraid to ask a question. Are you in? Are you ready? And she's strong, powerful, and outspoken. And in your health, especially, you need to be strong, powerful, outspoken, and curious. Sometimes with a doctor, they get dismissive. I've started to, like, it's so weird. You hit certain age markers and they're like, well, welcome to this era. And you're like, no, that's not an excuse. Don't dismiss me because I'm in a different age bracket. What is this about? And if you find an ageist person, you're too young for this, you're too old for this, that is not the right person. It's not the right doctor, not the right friend. And seek a second opinion then. So this especially happens for those of you that might have parents that are senior citizens. You need to find doctors that are advocates at that age, because sometimes they just dismiss aches and pains, and it's like you wouldn't ignore it if this person was 20, would you? You need to wrap your head around it and help this person and meet them on the level. So wherever you're at, whether someone is being dismissive or not giving you all the information, not showing up, not investing as much, whatever it is that makes you feel unsafe, uncomfortable, angry, Joan of Arc comes through, and she really did speak the truth, much to the chagrin of others. And she's like, take me or leave me. This is what's coming through. She's the magician. She's the high priestess. She's the king and the queen of swords. She's a very powerful energy. So don't underestimate your voice. Take some action. Okay? Okay. Super card to come through after that, the holiday, which was, I think, International Women's Day. So thank you, Joan. We needed something to come through for this. I mean, we got a bunch, actually, in the world, and the star, and the siren, all of that. All right, let's look at this from a health perspective. What else do we need to focus on? As I said, whatever small ache, pain, whatever awareness is coming through, talk about it earlier. Find someone who will listen, because the blindfolds cover the eyes and ears, so sometimes people don't want to see it or hear it. If you're feeling it, if it's your truth, speak up. Find someone that will listen. If someone in your life is ignoring something, it's a little more challenging. You can't make someone do something until they're ready, but you can keep the door open. You can let them know that you have resources or thoughts or opinions on it, and when they're ready to talk, the door is open. That's the most you can do for someone that isn't ready. I think that the environment is really important for you. The star is, it's reversed here. I'll take my portrait off for a second. So to get this upright, you need to be in a place that embraces who you are. So find a place where you don't have to change or mute yourself. So it's ultimately going to make you happier in the long run, right? I do think many of you are exploring a change of living environment, and it could be big or small. It doesn't matter whether you're moving across the street, across the country, or to another continent. The world card is all of that. It's move as far as you need to find where you need to be. It's also just about expansion. So there could be someone in your life, family member even, that wants to put a cap on this. So in the Christmas Carol, I believe the first ghost, she has a really bright crown chakra. Very interesting that he chose to do this. And at the end of the first sort of section of A Christmas Carol, he puts a cone on her head. He's like, I can't. He got tired of her light, Ebenezer Scrooge. I had a teacher that made us look at all of this symbolism, so I still remember it all these years later. I find it very interesting that even at the beginning, he made her put this sort of cone on her head so she wouldn't be shining so brightly. So there's someone or something in your light that's trying to dim your light, kind of like that. Let's not let them get to the point that they extinguish it. So if you're in that sort of muting area, we need to turn up the light, undim it, brighten it. And that may mean that you need to move beyond someone or something, okay? Stress management is really what this is about. For each of you, it's going to be different, but please do focus on that. Changes take time. Temperance is reminding you to take your time. Three of Cups, avoiding excess, but also opening yourself up to more social activities would be very advantageous. Ultimately, emotions are running high. All of these cards have that. And also a mental health, if there's anything like depression or just anything coming through, we all go through ebbs and flows in different points in our life where we need help. And I hope we're getting to a point where, like I said, if your car is making a noise, you go to the mechanic. If you have aches and pains, you go to the doctor. If you're going through something emotionally, go to a therapist. That's what it's there for. So it's just another form of self-care and help if you need it, okay? Ultimately, ask for help, be inquisitive, speak up, and advocate for what you deserve. Really powerful, really beautiful health reading. Let's move on to wealth. This is powerful, folks. So the siren came through. So if we look at it as this is a magnet, like one of the ultimate magnets. So in mythology, Cliff's Notes version, basically a siren would pull people towards them, sometimes to the detriment of a sailor because the ship would crash or whatever. But we'll focus more on the ability for a siren to accomplish something. They're magnetic. They're alluring. They're the energy of the star. They're the energy of the world. So don't underestimate your magnet power, magnetism. Also, avoid getting pulled into something that is not what it looks like. So there is definitely divine feminine energy in here, but there's also devil energy, which is sort of like something that you feel like I need to find out a little bit more. Don't ignore a red flag. So I once went to, this was just a place that I freelanced at. But the logo represented a snake, and it bothered me. And I could tell why. Once I got in, it felt like I was kind of in a snake pit. And I thought, oh, yeah. I remember sitting there. This was before. I've always been intuitive, but I didn't always recognize or listen to it in the moment. But I remember sitting there as I was signing the contract for employment and looking at the snake and thinking, 6 months max. I ended up being there 8 months, but I thought, this is a mistake. But I needed a job at the time, and but almost immediately, within a day, but really definitely within a week, I thought, what am I doing here? This was a mistake. So I just sat there for a bit, but that was the warning sign for me. There were other things too, but I just, as I was signing it, I'm like, this is wrong. What am I doing? So don't get to the point where you're in the point of signing. I still could have ripped it up and said, I don't want to do this. I changed my mind. They were also trying to pay me less than I was worth, and it caused challenges for the next job. So know and recognize the signs before you sign the contract, and don't sign a contract that limits you, limits your shine, limits your worth, etc. This is including non-competition clauses where you can't then move on to something better. That is such a selfish thing from a company's perspective. Like you can't work for 1 year if you quit or something. Don't sign something like that. And if there's intellectual property, like if you're a writer or a musician or an illustrator, make sure that you know when rights revert back to you. Don't sign them away permanently or in perpetuity, unless it's something that you don't mind, because sometimes you have to for a bigger company. But if it's something that you really, really care about, get a better deal. Speak up, okay? All right. Yes, if you want to go to school or get training, yes. It opens up amazing doors, not the least of which include meeting new people, amazing people and connections, but also opening your mind up to something that you might not have considered before, and I really do feel like it can be a breakthrough. There may be someone around you that doesn't understand why you want to do that training. That is their lack of understanding here. All right, let me expand this. We're going to briefly tap into the 5 major categories, and then I'll get more specific. If I see one thing in the card spread that I want to talk about, I will. So those that are currently employed, actually, yes. Then those that have their own company, job seekers, students, and retirees. All right, briefly looking at each of these. If you're currently employed, You have more power and potential than you may give yourself credit for. Emperor energy coming through in a nice pairing to what we just talked about with the Joan of Arc and the Siren, saying, I could speak this into existence. I can make this happen. You absolutely can. So don't underestimate your potential to create something that doesn't yet exist. Lean on community and teamwork here and word of mouth, because you've done some good work it's being noticed. So don't be afraid to kind of like put that into action. But because we got the Siren, I want it in writing. A handshake isn't enough. Definitely get an actual agreement, and it should be something to your liking. You may also just be deciding long-term that you want to do something on your own. You don't have to make the decision today, but I definitely get the vibe for entrepreneurial energy, and it's time for that leveling up. So you can also decide, I'm giving it X amount of time before I move on to the next thing, okay? Moving on to those that currently have a job, we have another learning card. So 8 of Pentacles is an apprentice card, and the 3 of Pentacles at the center is mastery. Whatever you're learning, it's really going to go the distance, and you may decide to get more training, more experience, go deeper down that path of education. Also, if there is a sort of like hidden skill that you don't talk about, bring it to the forefront, because this can help somebody see that. Anyway, we're looking at those who have their own companies. So what's interesting with you is that there may also be a chance in 8 of Pentacles, you may feel the need to roll up your sleeves and actively do something. Be more like, so let's say it's a bigger company. You may decide to spend more time with the employees, popping in, helping them out, getting a feel for what's going on in the production. I think that's really advantageous. You may also decide to give back in the form of like additional benefits, education, things of that nature. I wish we would see more of that, because, you know, investing in employees is a really good investment. Letting them build their own sort of like skills and growth, it's only going to benefit your company. So all of that. And then paying attention to the fine print and the small details. So I would rather you do less and do it better than to do more and have sloppy production value to it. So really paying attention to the small details. Your challenges as an entrepreneur or as an owner of a company, there could be some morale issues popping up here. There could be one negative person that's trying to like poison the well. We want to be mindful of that. You might be ignoring a warning sign or a desire. Like if you get an inclination for something, follow it. You have a good gut instinct. This is going to be a breakout opportunity for you. It's important to address customer feedback, even negative customer feedback. Reply in a way that is not just cut and paste. I get really annoyed when you're like looking at a review online for a shop and it's just the same thing. You can tell they're cutting and pasting. It's much better if they legitimately follow up and say, call Sam in customer service and then let me know how this goes. We will fix this. Like a specific follow-up. And then you can actually turn the tide. But I hate it when it may be Travel Advisor or Amazon or whatever you're looking at, and it's just a cut and paste. We pride ourselves in customer service. Please contact us at blah, blah, blah. And it's the same thing 15 times. That's not customer service. That's annoying. We really want one person coming through and saying, this is a technical issue, call this number. Oh, sorry about that, we'll do it. We offer an exchange policy, let us know. Like you have to personalize the approach. Cut and paste won't work. Details, specificity, and acknowledgement is going to be key to success. Overall, though, it's a good month. 8 of Pentacles showing a decent amount of abundance coming through. If you don't like something that you're doing, or if you're noticing that there's not a lot of desire, it might be time to take that out. All right. For those of you that are job seeking, Queen of Cups, know your value, know your worth, show your colors, and be creative. Be creative in your approach. Also, open and creative in where you decide to apply. It may be in a different industry, it may be in a different country, it may be something that just gives you more creative autonomy. Listen to how you feel if you get to the point of, even if it's a remote interview, you can tell a lot by how engaged the person is with you. Like, are they focusing on something else? Are they listening? Just like I was talking about, by sitting in the lobby, signing this, looking at, I was like, there's not enough people working here. I don't like the logo. I don't feel good about this. They're trying to talk to me. There were all these thoughts that were going through my mind, but I just, at the time, it was my dad. He's like, it's a good offer. You should do it. And it was kind of like that. And I'm not blaming him. He's gone. He's in spirit. But I should have listened to my own voice. Listen to your own voice as you're entering into something. And really, she represents wanting and receiving. I want it. I got it. Yes. But if you don't want it, if you don't feel like it's where you want to be, listen to that sensibility and sensitivity. It's both, really. All right. Let's see what else is going on here for those of you that are job seeking. Networking is everything. I feel like this comes up so often. I am friends with a lot of people that have challenges looking for jobs now because AI has entered in, and it doesn't even, like, there's not even a human. So it's almost like we need to find a way to either break through the AI or outsmart it. So you might need to work with an expert that can tune your resume to be AI compliant. It's a really specific and modern thing that I'm getting with this, but could be that or have someone in the company that can say, hey, you need to follow up on this application. Referrals, networking, anything that you can do to get a human, or you got to just embrace it because it's not going away. So rather than working with a recruiter or headhunter or something, find someone that knows how to work the system and get the keywords in there. It's such a weird place to be right now, right? All right. What else can we do here? What else are we looking at? I think that, again, looking beyond your current industry, space, or experience, and possibly even country, looking beyond, going bigger, going outside. If it's not working, then find something that is. Okay? Let's move on. Let's look at students. Page of Swords in reverse. Just acknowledging, by the way, that some of you, there's so much going on right now. It's very, like, again, the concentration and the focus is coming through. So take time for yourself. Cut through some of the red tape, because I'm getting a different image as I'm tuning into this, which is bureaucracy, red tape, and I think we're kind of getting some of what we were talking about with the the previous section here. So if you have an opportunity to travel to a university, like a career day or whatever, it's who you know there also that can open up doors. So cutting the red tape and the human touch. Don't be critical of yourself as you're going through the application or the rejection process. Everything for a reason. We never know in the time why one school accepts us, one doesn't. It's okay. For those of you already in the sort of role of study, then this is just about really getting to work. And brevity and clarity and less is more. So a Page of Swords just gets in and out and is to the point. The other thing is, it's important for your voice to be heard. If you're in a place where it's not being listened to, that's also problematic, and it might be a sign to transfer, because we have the World card, or change up who you're working with. You could get really inspired by going to a speech or seminar, because this is a listening card. So make sure that you're embracing those opportunities as well. All right, finally, retirees. You've earned your moment here. The Nine of Wands is a card that represents sometimes feeling you've been through the ringer, right? So I'd love for you to do some self-care at this moment in time, whatever that might be. Travel, art, sleeping in, I don't care. But the Nine of Wands has fought the battles and won many of them. And now you get to pick and choose if it's even worthy of your time or of your energy. I'm going to see if I can find it. But if not, then don't do it. That's the big takeaway here. So here's your traditional Nine of Wands. this person is annoyed. It's like I'm still standing, like that Elton John song, but there's also this recognition that I'm not going to let that bother me. I don't have to take this on. I've earned my stripes, and I don't have to prove or explain myself to you. So there's power in age and experience and in wisdom. But this is where I want to focus for you, is like, what's the next thing? If anything, like, does he have gray hair? No, he has. Yeah, this is an older magician. I like that. Magicians can be like Merlin, right? Or Gandalf. Or if we want to bring in like divine feminine, even Galadriel, she's like a sorceress of some sort. She's magical. But like age and wisdom often are comprised within a magician energy, because the older you are, the more experienced you are, the more you've been through, the more you know how to make things happen. So don't discount your inner magician right now. More chapters are ready to be written in your book. It's just a matter of leaning into it and saying, I especially can do this because I was there when things were not so easy. And I've been through this before. I can get through this now. So there is a definite sort of strength and power in this magician. Okay? All right. Let's move on. We're going to not go as deep in this because for whatever reason I needed to look at wealth deeper. So I am probably just going to pull one of each and kind of highlight love. But this is relationship energy. All right. So this card is being stubborn. Okay. We have the turtle coming through here. And one step forward, two steps forward, one step back. It's that kind of recalibrating energy. And there's this impatience with like, how am I making progress? It's not how quickly, it's how effectively. And also like with the turtle, you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your back. I also feel like it's not super effective in this moment in time to look backwards too much at could have, should have, would have. Sure, of course, if we knew that in the past, we could have saved time, energy, or money, or saved face even. But because you went through something, you are very ready right now for the next big thing, especially when we're looking at love. Take it slow. Don't rush. All right. We're going to look at those of you in a relationship. Focus then on those that are looking for love and single and happy. Okay. First things first, if you're in a relationship, inner healing is coming through. It's more of a teaching moment in a relationship. It has to do with self-worth. And when you start to feel worthy and ready, fewer tests or fewer issues come up with the partner. And one thing, and it could be either of you, I'm just picking up on the message, is don't take it to heart. Don't take it as a personal affront. Don't take it personally. There may have been something they said or did without the intention of kind of like digging up a childhood wound, but nonetheless it happened. Recognize the wound, heal the wound first, then have a conversation with the partner and say, please don't do that again. I know it wasn't meant to hurt, but it did. And if your partner loves you, they're not going to continue to do that. If they do tease, that is a red flag. When I was visiting with my cousin, we were recounting an uncle that's long since passed, like in the 80s, this person passed away. But we only had a very brief experience with this person, and we both didn't like him because he teased us. And teasing isn't good energy. In partnership, in parenting, in aunts or uncles, it's mean. It's mean. It's eliciting pain or discomfort for your own pleasure, like sarcasm. So if somebody does that, that's a bigger sign, like a bigger red flag. But I think this is more often than not just someone that said something that tripped a line that kind of had to do with the past. But whatever the inner child wound is, please heal it. There could also just be a lack of self-confidence. And that could just come from a lack of support in friends and family in recent history. So what you can do for your partner is say, I just wish you could see how much value and worth I do, because all I see is, beauty and worth. So show them a different path. Hold up it's not a mirror. You're going to hold up, you're going to project the image out of positivity. But there could be someone dealing also with like dysmorphia, lack of confidence. It's something myopic. That's what I'm picking up on. So there's only so much you can do. That's where a third party needs to come in. And that's where therapy helps out. Okay, we can also take this on a financial, like just face value, which is finances. Could be a little challenging or tight right now. So you're going to work together to give up some things. Mutual sacrifice on both ends. Maybe less streaming here, maybe less travel here, maybe less going out, so that the mutual sacrifice will help you get to the Six of Pentacles, okay? What I like about the moment, the star energy, and the Four of Wands. And even the Three of Pentacles, you put in the work. There are some self-defeating tendencies, though, in the relationship. You shouldn't need to validate everything. You shouldn't need to be validated all the time either. So there's something here where one person or both people don't see value or worth, and I think that's also adding to that. So there's a little bit of work that has to be done. But if the other party's willing to work on it, if one or both of you can, maybe even couples counseling can help in this instance, that could be something advantageous. Because other than that, it looks decent here. Just some heavy emotions, still attraction though, friendship, attraction, deep soul connection. I feel like this can be sorted out, but the stress is adding to the equation. All right, if you're looking for love, interesting. The Hierophant is a very traditional card when it's upright. The fact that we have a woman on this, I love. The fact that she's reversed, it's like doubling down on unconventional approach towards something. So the person whom you might be about to meet could go against what you thought you would be attracted to. You'll be attracted to them, but there's something unconventional. Could be the religion, the cultural background, religious practice, multiple things. This could also make people around you uncomfortable because they expected you with a certain person. So you're going counter to expectations. Nothing wrong with that. Just picking up on it. And so be open. Go with the flow. If you feel the connection, which I think you will, go for it. I think this person has a different worldview. And they're awakening. So I feel like you're more open because we have the world. And they're attracted to you because of your openness. And you just want to take your time. The turtle here is one step at a time. And pretty soon, this is someone who, if they're in the path of awakening, they'll get there. So don't also take it too personally if they ask a question that seems too personal or just out there. I feel like it's legitimate curiosity. Here's what I get, and this is the way to know that it's the right person. Magician is just pure chemistry. You're very much attracted. It feels like head over heels when it happens. Immediate friendship, give them time to get to the point where I think it can get serious faster than you think, but let's not put too many things out there at once. Like, don't put the carriage in front of the horse. It's got to be the opposite way. So since the Knight is reversed, we want to just take a couple steps back. Both of you need to get your feet on the ground. We have a Knight of Cups here. It could be a water sign, a lot of chemistry. Take it slow. All right. Single and happy. We have the Page of Pentacles coming through. Focus is less on relationships, more on personal development, money, resources, etc. All of that is very good. I don't know why. I'm just getting adventure when I look at this. Literally, like, I read the card, but it's like I saw the word adventure on it. So you might be investing in a trip to explore something new. It could be, adventure is so many different things. It could just be even like a new venture, like something that you're going to do with a business, but it could also be adventure, where you're deciding to explore or push yourself out of your comfort level. I'm going to leave it at that. That's the most powerful thing that I get. This phase should be something exciting. So your next investment of time, energy, money, etc., should be an exciting adventure for you. And we're good on that. Now let's look at destiny. We have Hypnos coming through. So appropriate because it's very small, but it's there. We have sleep. And he's like, shh. He's putting, like, there's a couple of things here. This could be the Four of Swords reversed for those of you that got that. It could be the Nine of Swords as well, which is impeding on your sleep. So stress, overwork, etc. There could also just be someone that's boring you to sleep. It's interesting. I mean, I remember sometimes, when I did have corporate work, just sitting in a meeting thinking, oh my God, this is painful. I would have to sit there and like focus, like drink caffeine. It's almost like you needed, do you remember the cartoons where they would put like toothpicks to keep their eyes open? If you feel a sense of boredom, it's time. In whatever it might be, it's time to do something different. You can be busy and bored too. And that's also like doubly as frustrating. It's stressful and it's not engaging. So wherever that sense of this is making me sleepy, this is I'm not connected to it, you should be the opposite of that. Now, of course, you can just take care of yourself. This could simply be sleep, but because he's kind of, I'm trying not to yawn as he does this, but it kind of is just someone trying to hush you. There's nothing worse than someone, I mean, I can't remember the last time someone went, shh. But to me, that is really, it kind of like, it makes you want to get angry, right? Don't shush me. So if someone's shushing you, if you're feeling bored, if you're tired, these are big wake-up calls that it's time to take better care of yourself, okay? Let's just look at this overarching spread and take a look at what the next step is for many of you. The Magician and the Four of Wands, focusing on connections and relationships that really wake you up. The world, no matter what you're doing next, it should expand. I really loved what we got for Single and Happy. So if we take everything else out of the mix, that energy of feeling like you're on an adventure, uncharted territory, something new. You may not have seen yourself trying or doing this, but this is exactly where you need to be. Stress reduction, self-care, and advocating for yourself. Joan of Arc just jumps out, even in the color. She's like the second brightest card on this spread. So it's really important to speak up. All right, we have a couple of additional things that we're going to do today. So let's talk about it. In just a moment, we're going to do the meditation. And this is going to give us a chance to just kind of like connect to possibilities, I really think, in this particular meditation. Then I'm going to look at one final card that, let's say you're trying to make a major decision. I'll pull the card and we'll see what the energy is. Or if you're just open to receive a message, I can also do it that way. But you can be as specific or as broad as you want to. I'll pull a card. We'll look at that. And before I do that, again, just one small ask. If you've never subscribed, please subscribe. You can only do it once. Hit the thumbs up if you like this. Let's see. 476 of you have done it, and we have about 1,000 people here. So hit it if you haven't done it. It helps. You can only hit it once as well. And then leave a comment on replay. You can also give me a follow on social media to make sure you never miss something. And I'm going to talk about super chats, memberships, etc. in a few minutes here, but feel free to do that while we meditate. Now let's meditate. Okay. Close your eyes. Let go of everything, including the question that you might be asking me in a moment. I'd like you to focus on your heart space and imagine that you're in a safe area. Like, let's imagine we're in the forest. There's a beautiful grove of trees around us. There's a clearing above, and you can see the light filtering in through the forest. And there's this sense of being safe, but also surrounded by all this beauty. And allow yourself to lay down on the mossy ground beneath you. And as you lay down, each and every one of the rays of light hits one of the major chakra points in your body. And allow in this moment for wherever there's pain or discomfort, for the light to go in and melt it away. Wherever there's doubt or uncertainty, for the light to go through it, reveal that that doesn't serve you anymore, and just remove it as well. It scrubs it clean. And if you were to take a few steps back, astrally to look at your physical body, you would see a bright, resplendent, and beautiful being, which is what you are. Really hold this truth in your heart, in your head, in your energy, that you are absolutely a beautiful and deserving individual for whatever it is that you're starting to create next in your life. Reconnect with your body, with your energy, and project, almost as if you were a movie camera, what it is that you want to see next. And know that that is the first step. You've thought it into existence. Maybe this week you can take the next step, speaking it into existence and taking action on that as well. Plant your feet on the ground, create a circle of light around your body, and know that you are protected and connected now and always. If you will, please, I'd like you to focus now on a final question. It can be anything that we haven't yet talked about. Let's see what Spirit has to say. This was an interesting week with respect to all of the daily cards. We got every single 10, starting off with the 10 of Swords. So the 10 of Swords makes an appearance here today. If you asked a yes or a no, it's a no, but it's saying there's something better. And it's also saying that there's an element of healing that needs to be done first. If you really want something, you need to be mind, body, and spirit more prepared. I'm not afraid to say if we got to know, we've got to know here. But the 10 of Swords is a turning point. And after that, something better will come through. So don't sell yourself short and don't put yourself out there until you're ready. Other things with the 10 of Swords, something needed to come to a close. And sometimes we need it to be an ouch moment, like you touch the stove and it hurts, so your reflex pulls you back before you burn yourself more. Sometimes we need the ouch to prevent something worse. So discomfort followed by a silver lining, followed by something bigger and better. And we even talked a little bit about that in the hidden outcome card, which was 5 of Cups. So a few things had to fall away, and then those 2 cups remain. Friendship, partnership, some sort of silver lining. So really focus on self-care right now, getting enough sleep, eating well, taking care of yourself. All right? And that is the takeaway there for the 10 of Swords. Also, tomorrow's a new day. If today was the worst day ever, okay. But tomorrow is different. Let's not carry that into the next day. All right. So let's take a couple moments to express gratitude. By the way, if you'd like to give back, I will do my best to say thank you here in just a moment. Quick reminder, on social media, I don't offer private readings or use DMs, so please stay safe and avoid that. If you ever need to find me on social media, you can go to my website. All the links that I mentioned earlier can be found there. And again, thank you for everybody who joined today. All right, let's express some gratitude. Just first and foremost, thanks to everyone for just being here. Like this is always the highlight of my week. And even if I'm feeling sick or tired or I'm going through something, I show up and I feel better. And I can't say that of many things in my life where like, oh, I'm always better for it. I'm always better for this. So thanks for giving back. I can feel the energy. I can feel the love too. All right, so let's take a look here. Welcome to or welcome back to the following people: Ruby Red, Beverly, Astral, Bernadette, Alexa, Mary Dell, Bess Bridget, Lauren S., Christy, I Am Divine, Karen Smith. Let's see if I can get these other ones here. Rebecca, Tessa, Jove, Mindful Steps. Let's see, did I get everybody here? It always wants to kind of disappear. I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I will call it out when I look at the super stickers here in just a moment. Thank you, by the way, to Dakota, who always helps me out throughout the reading. Couldn't do it without you. I appreciate it. All right, super stickers today. Thank you to Colette, Ruby Red, and Monica. You guys rock. All right, give me a moment here to celebrate any sort of milestones, and if I missed anything, usually it shows up here as well. All right, so here we go. Schoolhouse Intuitive, a member for 9 months. Congratulations on that, and thank you for your continued support. Ann Walk, almost a year and a half here. Thank you for 16 months of membership. I appreciate you, and you're welcome. I'm glad that this resonated. Thank you, Schoolhouse Intuitive, for gifting a membership today, and welcome to that person. Mira, thank you for being a member for 6 months, and thanks for sending some peaceful thoughts to everybody. Right back at you. Mindful Steps, thank you for gifting a membership. Deborah, thank you for also gifting a membership. Wow, Michelle, look at that crown with all the tops there. Thank you for 49 months of membership. You were with me in the pandemic and still are here. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Claude, thank you for gifting a membership as well. Colette, thanks for that sticker. We'll talk more about stickers in a moment, but let's see. Gypsy Soul, you gifted a membership. Thank you very much. Water Girl, 19 months. That's awesome. Almost 2 years exactly. Well, I'm equally as blessed to have you as a follower, so thank you. Ruby Red, you just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you very much. And you upgraded. Get out of town. You are a star. Thank you for that. Let's see. Phoebe, you gifted a membership as well, and I know you're a longtime viewer, so thank you for your support. I much appreciate it. Deborah, gratitude to you as well, my friend. Tammy, I think I missed you the first time in the stickers. Thank you for your sticker. Let's see. Deborah, 22 months of membership. Thank you for your support. Mindful Steps, I think you just gave back, so appreciate that. And also, you are a member of 5 months, so thanks. And Andrea, thank you for 40 months of membership. You guys rock. All right. I'm pretty sure I highlighted most of you. If I missed anyone, I will see it when I look at the replay, and I know that Dakota also called you out. So from my heart to yours, wishing you all the best. We have Apollo in the background. Let's give him a little pat on the head. See if I can get him in frame a little bit more. Let's see this direction. There you go, buddy. All right. Yes, I know. Such a good boy. Thank you for the licks. Very happy puppy there in the background. All right, folks, I just want to extend some gratitude for being the absolute best part of what I do here on YouTube. Thanks for your love and support. We'll get caught up on the final 4 videos I think that I have to offer this week. I've just been taking care of my health. I'm finally there. Like, my lungs are good. My throat is good. I saw a couple of annoyed comments, but listen, I'm very rarely not on time. This is a month where I just had to take care of myself. Take it or leave it. I do prioritize health and well-being. What I might do for the next round of videos is do so that I can get ahead a month. I might pack 2 months together or something so that I do April and May. And then when I'm in April, I could be doing June so that you guys stop kind of like feeling like we got to catch up. So I'll figure it out. We'll somehow get caught up and then we'll be fine. Deep breaths. It's all good, folks. All right. Sending you lots of love and support, lots of appreciation. Take care and have an amazing week ahead. It looks like it's going to be a good one. Bye-bye.